Well, in terms of advice that I would give to leaders in the public sector across the Caribbean and also in regional institutions, that's easy for me. I think my entire life journey professionally, having lost jobs, having thought I'm doing the right things and being let's say punished for it, has brought me to the point where all leaders, I think we need to be forthright. We need to be firm in our belief. We must never be afraid to lead and to provide direction, to give the kind of advice, to give opinions, to analyze recommendations and to come up with all of the respective outcomes. If we don't do that, then we're doing a disservice to ourselves, to our institution, to the people we lead, to the people we report to, and to the broader public. So I do believe in doing the right thing as a leader, always, and also being forthright. I do believe that we should empower the people we work for, not just using the word empowerment as a buzzword. I think if we go into our organization with the view that we should run a shift, carry the baton for a leg, but with the view that at the end of it all, the people we lead are better off for it, then we would have done, I would say, great service to the people, to the organization, the institution, and to the country, and in this case, to the region we serve. So that would be my parting advice to leaders in the public service. Be bold, be creative, be fearless, and just go for the goal, so to speak, if I want to use that term.
Do you even want to be a leader? Do you want to be a leader? What kind of leader do you want to be? And if you don't necessarily want to be a leader of others, but clearly I think people should want to understand how they're leading themselves. How are they being? And so the first thing is to determine, who do I want to be? Not to be somebody else, but who do I want to be? How can I be my best self? Because while you can learn from others, ultimately you have to be who you were created to be. And so I think the first step is to set some goals. I think the next thing is you're going to have to develop an action plan. And don't develop action plans that are setting very lofty goals that you really cannot attain. You know how people go about saying, I want to lose 50 pounds in 1 month, sort of thing. That's not realistic. I think you want to develop action plans that start with baby steps. I think you also want to read. I read a lot. And there is a lot of help that exists out there. A lot of tools that are available to us as individuals to help us to develop our self-awareness. I mean, you can do online tools that are freely available to do things like a personality assessment. There's just so much out there. But it's unfortunate, but so many of us do not take advantage of the resources that are so freely available. So I would encourage anyone wanting to develop their self-awareness, look at the material that is out there on this topic. There's a wealth of information that is available. Not to say that all of it is necessarily, what you want to accept and to embrace, but there's so much you can look at, evaluate, and take away what you can apply as well. I think it is important to seek out feedback, okay? Seek it out. Sometimes feedback doesn't come to you naturally. People don't always want to give you feedback. So it is important that you invite feedback, okay? Again, I spoke about those accountability partners, those trusted friends, your employees, people in your world. Ask for feedback. You're not going to necessarily share your self-awareness goals with all and sundry, and you need not do that. But that trusted advisor, I would share those goals with them, ask them to hold you accountable, and to request feedback on how you're doing at varying intervals. And I think ultimately, do not take yourself too seriously. You will never be perfect. No one is going to be totally self-aware, at any given time. It's a journey. And it's amazing how sometimes you think, oh, I have got it down. I have this down pat. And then something happens and you realize that your reaction is surprising even to you. And so that is a signal to you that you're on a journey. So be patient with yourself. And I think last but definitely not least, develop the practice of reflection. Reflect on who you are being. Reflect on your own self-awareness. Reflect on your goals. Reflect on what progress you have made. And I think that process of constant reflection is very, very important, because again, it is your feedback mechanism to yourself to look at, am I being self-aware? Am I really self-regulating? Am I being emotionally intelligent? What is the quality of my key interpersonal relationships? And you cannot answer those questions without taking that time, having that space to actually do that level of reflection. And many persons will say, oh my goodness, you don't know how busy I am. But let me tell you something. Ask yourself, what is more costly? Self-regulating, finding that time for self-reflection and making the necessary adjustments, or going along without self-reflection, without being self-aware, making mistakes, which I guarantee you will be far more costly in the medium and long term. So taking that time out for self-reflection, if you have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do so, if you have to cut your lunchtime short, if you have to turn off your phone for half an hour, it doesn't have to be a long period, but take that time out regularly and consistently to self-reflect. And I believe that if you do this, if you employ these strategies over time, you will find that you will see the payoff, you'll be far more empowered, and you will be freer.